This is RSBNB Update 367, recorded June 29th, 2012. Selling tissues, 1K each.
Hello everybody, this is the update of the month that everyone's probably been waiting for because we all know what happened this week, the evolution of combat. But first off, Trekkie is here.
Yo.
Earth, aka Reed, is here. That's what I'm going to be calling him throughout this episode. He's here because he's wanted to come on the show for a while, and he helped us test out some of the stuff. It was actually a good punching bag for us.
He was a very good punching bag.
Shut up, Trekkie.
And we also got Brad, aka Chief Snake.
Hello.
So, he's here because, well, he's an old-timer just like Trekkie, and me and him also share the same views about UI design and everything else, so we're going to attack this update from that point of view.
Yeah, that's clearly why I'm here. Not just because it's the only time that I'll ever be able to be on here for, like, the next few months.
Well, so let's just start off and say that the Evolution of Combat did come out on Tuesday, the 26th of June, 2012, as a beta, as expected. And this beta is, of course, limited to RuneScape members until July 7th, when all members will be able to access it. So if you didn't sign up in the pre-sign-up phase, well, you're kind of out of luck until then. It's working much like the RS2 beta did when that came out back in 2004. There's two different servers. You can copy your account over.
Back in the day. You remember back that far?
Oh, yeah. I was there. That was the first time I actually started playing RuneScape and getting interested in it when I started with the RS2 beta.
Yeah.
So, there are some striking parallels between how these two things are working, but we'll get there eventually. So, I think the first thing we ought to start out with this week is the OG blog featuring the final challenges that they wanted to accomplish in this. I'll read them off, and then you guys just jump in and tell me what you feel about them. First off, they wanted to give Rangers and Mages a final chance and build a real combat triangle, because I think, what did we have before? Combat parallelogram?
Actually, it was more...
It's just a potato.
It was either mage or... It was... Ranger wasn't really that great in the first place.
Okay, so a combat potato. Yeah, I don't know where you got that one from, Reed, but it's okay. So, based on what we know so far, well, actually, we'll discuss this later, but they said one of the contentious aims was to address the combat triangle and point out that they want to have creatures that are ranged and mage-based, because as it was existing, 95% of the NPCs were melee-based, which I think we all knew was true, right?
Yeah, they're always all melee except for dragons.
Dragons? What do you mean?
Every other NPC in the game were all melee except for the dragons, which you use mage and range.
Okay. Well, also with this, they wanted to fill in the gaps between existing equipment tiers. So, for instance, they've moved some of the stuff around, but we'll get to that later. The thing that he says he's going to start off by shouting is full bandos. So now that means there's going to be a bando shield, gloves, and a new helmet.
Oh.
Full bandos. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
really?
Because...
Like, just Bandos, though?
Yeah, you know, that's a very good point, because I guess...
Inconsistency.
Where is the Armadillo set? Because what was the Armadillo set full before? I don't know. I never owned one. I was too bored.
It was just three. It was a three-piece armor. Well, okay. 4 if you count the back, but nobody really uses the back anyway.
The back?
The back?
The back?
I think was there an item slot for the back one?
I don't know. You're the one that's going on about something on the back.
There is in the beta.
Oh.
It replaces one of the slots, the shield slot, but maybe that's just only in the beta.
Maybe.
I remember.
Another thing they, of course, wanted to do is fix defense and life points, because it's really difficult to create a balanced experience for players if they use items intended for players higher level than they are. The example they give is that, yes, we can control this with armor wearing requirements, but they can't control it for food. They say, why should a lower level use a rocktail? Why should a lower level be able to use a rocktail when it's not going to provide them any benefit? So they're saying food will now heal, and other consumables will heal a set amount based on your level. What do we think of that?
So wouldn't that basically kind of mean sharks and rocktails being the same thing? And so it would be a Ceredomin bruise.
Yeah, kind of, I guess, based on the level. But
Ooh, sharks are coming back. Great.
okay, well, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yes.
It's slightly disappointing in the sense that if you want to make like a skiller or something and then run into some ridiculous area, I can remember making a skiller and like running around the stronghold of security and stuff, and going to get those boots and just take a whole load of lobsters or whatever, and then you can eat those and you'll be fine. You won't even get hurt at all by those level 70 or 80 things. Whereas I suppose you can't really do that anymore, therefore you can't have a skiller with like epic clothing and stuff.
Yeah, because they say the example they give is players around level 50 Constitution should really only be eating lobsters. If they choose to eat sharks, they can, but it won't heal any more than a lobster will. So that's essentially what they're doing here.
Interesting. I think it's a good idea. It's probably something that should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah, I agree.
But it is
And
a
then
wee bit disappointing at the same time.
And of course, allow players' combat levels to truly represent their ability. So they this is a strengthening of defense and more emphasis given to the abilities and equipment a player is using rather than skills like prayer and summoning. We hope this will give people a quicker and more accurate guide to the relative power of their opponent. Now, I think this is where the community was up in arms about, eh, Reed?
Yeah.
Do you have that picture that we can put in the notes?
No, I don't.
Essentially, what does the RuneScape population do whenever there's a change they don't like?
Me?
Rage.
Rage.
Riot.
Or Riot.
World 66. Palador.
Exactly. So there was this screenshot posted this week. A whole bunch of people yelling rather, save Piers, whatever else, shelve the combat update, etc. And I give ModMark 110% credit for this. I think his exact line was, "Do you guys need a tissue?" This is great.
Funny.
I mean, that's definitely great to see that, standing up for your piece of content and knowing that your team is 100% behind it and you're going to be pressing on with it no matter what the community thinks, because the best as to how the game is played compared to everyone else. So I just love that. I just love that part. Anyways, that's essentially what they highlighted in the final challenges this week.
It is pretty funny in the sense that, you'd think they would want to be making quite a big deal of pleasing everyone, because that seems to be what they've done for the past year or two, just done everything that would just straight up please the players. And so to be able to just shut down all of the pures in RuneScape just like that.
And the game's gotten worse.
Yeah.
Because now if you have a one defense peer, and say you get, I don't know, do peers get 99 strength?
Yeah.
Your combat level, your max combat then will only be 102. So, I mean, it is a big blow to them, but that's just the way the game is going in their direction. And they will reap the benefits from playing the game how it's designed. And I know whenever I design something to be used a certain way, it annoys me when people want to use it a different way. So I'm just happy that Jagex is doing this. I mean, it's the classic thing of trying to use a round peg in a square hole.
That's
I'm
when
sure
you
I
just
remember you
hammer
using
and
those.
force it through.
I'm sure I remember you using those exact words on a previous show, Shane.
Oh, probably. I don't know
We
what
had this
for.
big conversation. Oh god, yeah.
I don't even
Let's
remember
leave
what
it
that
alone this time.
conversation would have been.
It was quite funny. It was making analogies between you and software producers, operating system
Oh, yes, that's right.
manufacturers, more specifically. Anyway.
All right. So the beta update, some content available, actually, that isn't available in this includes quests, Barbarian Assault, Clan Wars, Conquest, Fishing Trawler, Fist of Gothic, Mobilizing Army, Shades of Borden, Trouble Brewing, Dominion Tower, and the Mage Training Arena.
Oh,
Castle War on that
Mage
list?
Training Arena.
You are allowed to go into Castle Wars. You are also allowed to go into the Duel Arena, Soul Wars, Fight Pits, Fight Cave, Barrows, Pest Control, the Wilderness, and Dungeoneering, of course.
Most of my Dungeoneering friends are not very happy with this update. Primarily because they supposedly removed the ability to drink in Overlord. Was it Overlord? Not Overlord. Overload. There we go. They took away the ability to drink an Overload
StarCraft.
potion. Yes, yeah. They took the ability to drink an Overload potion and enter the dungeon with all your stats boosted up, so that no longer works. So some of them are not very happy with that change.
Well, that's kind of
just-
like a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same with prayer renewal, but no, you kind of saw that them fixing it sooner or later anyway.
I mean, the way Dungeoneering
Yeah.
is, that sounds like a bug because it's supposed to be its own little combined or instanced world. I mean, so
Yeah.
Okay.
Have people stopped hating on Dungeoneering yet, or is that still happening?
Shane's
I'll still call them
Shane's
minigame.
Sorry, it's been a while. Oh, that's good. As it should be.
Shane still
Tricky,
hates it.
by the way, Tricky, I am loving this authentic Asian ambience you've got going on over there. I think it brings something special to the show.
Not by choice.
Just have to hope they're not saying bad things in the background. We wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah, we would have no idea. News? Tricky's actually watching dirty movies.
Actually, right now they're talking about the riot in Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to say the riot in
bet they are.
Falador.
I bet they are.
You thought they were gonna say what?
The riot in Falador. But anyway.
Yes.
So
That's it.
moving on from this, when you head into the combat beta, you have two choices. Your first choice is to play from level 1, which is what Mike tried to do, and what happened with that?
He was full bronzy for a long time.
You got mauled by a bear, right?
Oh yeah, he became all my bear on his way to
You know.
piano. So I had to kind of teleport up to Camelot and then kind of be like an escort service. And not that kind of escort service.
Were you his knight in shining armor?
Actually, I was more of his Robin Hood because I was wearing full armor though.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and of course the second option is to import your save from wherever it existed previously. So if you're almost maxed like I am, then you will have everything brought over, and you'll just get to experience the game from where you left off. And it's also important to note that the combat beta brings a nice update to the player kit. We actually have the fingers now that we saw last week.
Yeah.
Fingers.
Yeah, fingers on the player models.
Does it look weird?
Yes.
Yeah. They're trying
Logged
to make
in.
it
What the
make it
heck is
flexible
wrong
so
with
there's
my
no-
character?
There's something wrong with this. Can't tell, but
Yeah.
And I think the face is a bit more detailed too.
Yeah, it was the eyes that kind of freaked me out.
okay. Is there any point in your video where you actually take off your armor so that I can see that? Or
No.
oh, damn you!
But I'll take a picture for you after if you want.
Okay.
But so, there's 9 beta worlds, they say, but I counted more on the list, didn't you guys?
But they added more
They
near
added
the end.
more.
Okay. Well, that makes sense then. Well, so with that being said, let's actually talk a bit about the combat itself. So first off,
Oh,
the
it's gonna
action
be
bar.
interesting.
The action bar. This is the little bar that people were saying that RuneScape is now World of RuneScape, just like World of Warcraft.
Because
Yeah.
no other game has a thing like that in its UI.
Yes, I'm sure Star Trek Online is considered world universe of Star Trek or something. And Guild-
Man,
Well, no, I mean
That's-
World of Warcraft, Guild Wars, Star Wars Old Republic game, everything that's an MMO has such a UI. I mean, we've all seen it before, and it's a perfectly good way of stacking things up and showing how you're going to be playing the game. So, I mean, I don't see what the big issue is. This is another thing people are complaining about, but I actually think this is well done for Jagex, this update. Specifically the action bar, because it's so customizable, which is something we haven't seen from Jagex in a long time. I mean, you can even customize the little keyboard shortcuts on the thing. When have you been able to customize a keyboard shortcut in RuneScape?
never.
Exactly.
Yes, and,
Wait, it's had keyboard shortcuts?
Yeah, you can press the F keys and stuff to switch tabs.
Oh yeah, that doesn't really count though.
Sure it does.
What?
But no one actually
To be
uses those.
I do,
I do.
Oh,
In
weirdos.
what?
especially
Oh.
when I'm especially in combat.
I use
You need to-
those.
I'd use it in like the fight caves or something, but
Yeah, there you
use
go.
it to switch between my inventory and magic.
prayers, magic, and
stuff.
everything else.
Yeah.
But,
So, I mean, that's just a little bit of customizability. And while we're also on the topic of UI stuff, I put out an Informer article this past week. It'll be out by the time you guys are hearing this, about the whole UI of RuneScape and whatnot, or rather, this combat update. So if you're interested in knowing some thoughts regarding this, then you might as well. Ah, yes, that is my lemon, Brad.
You're a lemon.
Excuse
Yes.
me?
That is my lemon. I mean, my
it
lime.
doesn't look like a lemon. Oh, it still doesn't look like a lime either. It's
Well,
a
it's a
It's
square.
a green box.
Yeah, I call it my lime, but it's really my arm staff. I mean, my arm's wand. It's glitched.
Oh, so that is actually a bug. It's not just supposed to look like that.
Yes, it's not supposed to look like that.
Okay, good.
Yes.
And well, just Shane, let's also take a look at this. So one of the reasons that you really like this UI update is because it reminds you of so much of Star Trek Online.
No, not at all. Not at all. I hate the UI in that game.
Yes, but then again, you love the customizability of it when you're in combat and everything else.
Yes,
You just
yes.
wish there was more RuneScape.
Yes,
And
that's true.
recapping up on this doesn't just look just like the Star Trek Online thing.
Not exactly like it.
See?
You have like 5 panels, put whatever you want on it, including his potions.
Yeah, but you
food.
can move that. Can you move it on this one?
No, you
No.
can't.
It's stuck.
You
up
can't.
the
Can you
chat
make
so
it show more than one?
No, that is one of my main criticisms of the action bar. It's stuck at only showing one row. It would be really great if you could see 2 or 3. At least I think. But it might be a tactical decision on their part to change gameplay, because I know that's something you were saying, Brad.
I what?
Or no, I mean Trekkie, I'm sorry.
Cool.
Yes. So, I mean, you were saying that, yes, it would be nice to have more, but maybe it was designed this way, you know? So,
Well, we'll talk about more about that later.
well,
when
we're
we
talking
get
about the
deep into
action
the
bar
outs of
right
it.
now. We're talking about the action bar right now. So, I mean,
Well, what was that?
oh, that must be the picture.
Well, anyway.
So,
Well, the thing is about the one of the things about the action bar why I think they left only one panel is because you know how it's really easy for you to switch between weapons in RuneScape. You just click on the weapon you want, it automatically goes into your hand, and then The thing is that the weapon skills do not change. So what will happen if someone is using a shield and sword, and then suddenly dual wielding, having having the ability to just automatically change the skill bar can make PvP and all the other things very overpowered.
Okay, so your point being, I don't follow.
Basically, they keep it only one so that people who with very very fast fingers actually have an upper hand.
Okay. I see. Well, I can see it from that way around there too. But I mean, it's a nice change to have. But why not just take it to the ultimate level of customizability and let the person move it around, or have multiple up? Because as it is, we said there's 5 of them right now, and maybe this is the way it's supposed to be. But if you right click on the little number. I'm just looking at the little number on this action bar page here. You can set a hotkey. So, for instance, if you press Shift 2, 3, 4, or 5, that's what mine set to. It changes to that row. So, I mean, is that enough, you guys?
How many skill bars do you want, Shane?
3 or 2?
That's not 12 that you were asking for the other day.
No, I said there's 12. I never said I wanted 12. I said there's 12 columns here. But anyways, back on track here. Action bar. Brad, yes, no?
Pass.
Okay. But do you think it fits in RuneScape to take the keyboard, make the keyboard be much more focused on performing actions rather than just click, 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 click everywhere,
I think as long as there is also the option to actually click as well, because
Okay.
that's kind of, the foundation of RuneScape, then I think sure, it's fine to add some keyboard shortcuts in there, because it makes sense in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
They kind of need them too.
Yes.
It's where everything's going.
Yep.
Yeah,
And-
I think it fits.
And it's nice because there's no need to turn mouse keys on anymore. You just, for example, you drag your high alchemy spell out there, and you just put your mouse over this item, and it's just tap, 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 tap. So it's a welcome change. Anything else on the action bar before we move on to the ability book?
I think one thing they should do is going what Shane said is show you 3 of them at a time, but only activate 1 of them. So you still have to click through it, but you see all 3 of them, so you can put your skills that you want and know where is where.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else from anyone?
No.
I wish they made it bigger. It's way too
That
small.
too. That too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And part of the reason I think this is because they're still hampered by the legacy of the fixed window. So I think they're at a stage where they just need to completely kill that thing off.
They
But
should.
then again, there's so many people who lag without the fixed window.
Well, then, too bad. It's 2012. Get a computer from this decade. That's all. I mean,
I don't know. It is still Java. I mean, if you're in a highly populated area, I reckon my computer would still lag in like full screen.
yeah, we were down to 3 FPS
Well,
the day this came out
my-
in Lumbridge.
Wow. Yeah, I was thinking, my definition of lag might be say 25 FPS, 20, 30, but
Yeah,
Oh,
what
yeah,
does everyone run at in terms of frames per second?
I run with everything cranked up at about a 1280 by 720 window, and I get about 45 to 50.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I run at too. So
Trekkie, what size do you keep your window at?
Resizable, half my screen.
Okay. Well, that's
Half
not
the screen is for that, and the other half is for YouTubing or watching whatever shows I have. And unless I'm in dungeoneering, I don't put it out to full screen.
Okay. What about you, Brad?
I suppose I have a 1080p screen, but it would only run at part of that.
Yeah, I mean,
size.
it just feels too big to run RuneScape at 1080p, I think, at least.
Well, I mean, it's part of it is just, I guess, because I've always run RuneScape while doing other things at the same time, so it doesn't make
Yes.
sense to
Yes.
just have it full screen all the time to me. Whereas the people who are kind of the next generation would be the ones who would want to play RuneScape as just a game, and so I'd be playing only that at once. So it might make more sense for them to make it full screen and stuff. But
With the claw-like fingers.
yes,
Yeah.
obviously. That was a
All
little
right.
bit too late.
But,
About 10 minutes.
Missed
I'm
the mark a
sorry.
bit.
But speaking of that, this is a good way to transition. People who own Dragon Claws are a bit upset because they're useless now because special attacks have gone away at the dodo.
Oh, how unfortunate.
Yeah, so all the special attacks have been replaced by abilities within the ability book. And for some reason, there's no ability book on the RuneScape website, so which is unfortunate. So we are using content this week here from RSWiki. So hello, RSWiki.
So will that make, many other things as just not just Dragon Claws, but a lot of other things that are expensive
Special.
because of the special attacks? Will that
Yeah.
make them pretty
Oh
obsolete
yeah,
as well?
of course. What else would there be?
Or does that just mean they're a lot cheaper because... Oh, no, I don't.
Well, I think it's going to make the stuff a whole lot cheaper because who wants Dragon Claws? The main reason for the Dragon Claws is the special. They're slow enough without the special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, now they consider the dual wielding weapon.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, dual wielding weapon still does a lot of damage. Depending on what it is.
Remember I killed you and you weren't even able to hurt me there?
Well, my range kit.
Yes.
Yeah, that kind of shows like ranging is still not very. It's definitely not very good.
But I was,
guess.
as melee and as the combat triangle stipulates, melee beats range. So,
Yes, it took me a while to figure out how to auto cast spells instead of smacking you with my staff of light. It's like, why is this
Isn't it
not
still
working?
just right click?
yeah, it is. But, sometimes Trekkie isn't the most obvious.
Upgrade.
So, another special that's gone away that has resulted in an interesting change with dual wielding is the Enhanced Excalibur no longer has that massive healing special that you can use. And the Enhanced Excalibur is now the same stats as a whip, except you hold it in your left hand. So, it's, it's basically like having a second whip. So is anybody upset about losing the Enhanced Excalibur after doing the Seer's Heart and Elite Diaries?
Well, kind of, because the healing was nice.
Yeah, and, everyone can do that.
That's why I spent several mil on getting the requirements for that.
Wait, is there any difference between the actual... Because I think I've done the hard, but not the elite.
The
But actually,
Elite one
It
just heals
heals
a bit
twice
more.
as much.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I really liked the Excalibur for the fact that it healed you. I actually use that all the time.
But the replacement
Yeah.
is Rejuvenate, a defense ability available at level 52, requiring 100% adrenaline. Has a 60-second cooldown.
How much does that heal?
I don't know. It heals quite a bit. I don't have an exact number on it, though. I never counted. So, this is the way it's heading. Rejuvenate is the first example that comes to mind. And, there are things that require, for example, dual-wielded weapons. So, for instance, I go into a Frenzy and use the Frenzy thing. Does a 10-second long attack, targets directly in front of you. You take damage equal to 20% of their max. Or they take damage 20% of their maximum life points every 2 seconds. So this is another ultimate ability. For instance, one of the special ones that I like to do is I like to do a kick and then a punish because that will kick them, stun them, and then, of course, after you do that, it will deal 175% weapon damage. So this is what they mean by making it so that it's more about your skill, knowing what you should be doing with these. Because I know it's incredibly...
Aww.
What?
I don't like skill.
Well, you know, it's good that we should still be happy that you can AFK train.
Yes, indeed. I actually did
oh,
that
that's
while
fun then.
in my Slayer task. If you don't put anything on the action bar, you just automatically hit him for whatever damage. But if you actually, you know, just every once in a while, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5. Oh, okay, they're dead.
Yeah, it goes a lot faster when you actually use these abilities. I mean, I was chewing through Black Demons like there's no tomorrow.
You know, if people were complaining it was too slow, and then I try to ask them, did you use them properly? And most people said, how are you supposed to use them properly? Well, think about it. All these skills are not just I hit you and then I do damage. They all use each other for more damage. Key one, like remember last time yesterday? Well, was it yesterday? No, 2 days ago when I was with you and you as my major, I would asphyxiate you, causing you to be stunned. That was torture. Yes, but Shane doesn't understand that. And I would torture you, and this powerful spell inflicts more damage if the target is stunned. Well, now the person's stunned, I just did more damage to you, then you use something else. Oh, that one goes off the fact that he is still stunned. I'll use what was the one I used?
Exactly.
Well, you're now stunned again. You can for even more, and that's what people weren't really doing. Was the fact that you both, like every other MMO, you don't try and make someone cause someone a deep wound. You make them bleed first or something.
Yes,
and
there
that's
you
what
go.
people are not doing. Like every MMO does this. He's like, you have to use one particular skill first. That will open up the line for every other skill on your bar.
Exactly.
Yeah, that does not surprise me at all. I mean, the players of RuneScape seem to be notoriously quite retarded.
Dumb. Oh, okay.
Well,
He's retarded, but
people keep expecting this to be like World of Warcraft, and there's a major flaw in that logic. It's because, Shane, are you ever going to go do your Slayer task and call me and Reed and Mike to come help you?
No, but I could if I want to have more fun, I guess.
And well, yes, you could, but the key point is most people are still going to be solo. What's the thing about World of Warcraft? They want you to start getting little groups together and doing a dungeon.
Yeah, the raiding is a very big thing in World of Warcraft. Not so much in RuneScape. I mean, there's not even an official way to do it without fighting for a world, you know?
and people are dumb. It's hard to find a good group.
And even if you do get a good group, there's no way of you communicating with that group very well in RuneScape. And thing is that like I'm looking forward to the day when have all those like massive clan wars and then like you'll have people with two-handed, because the main thing about two-handers is that they decrease their defense. Then someone from behind from next group, hey, go hit so and so. You do
wait,
really.
What'd you say about two-handers decreasing defense?
They help lower defense of the enemy.
Oh, okay, I did not know that.
It's like two-hander, like smash a target for 200% weapon damage, and disabling protection prayers in PvP.
Oh, right. Yeah, see that's a good one to have. I mean, so.
Did you say it disabled protection prayers?
Yes.
And you have another one, meteor strike, again, a melee weapon. Crush down your target, force down a meteor, dealing damage, and usable targets over 50% life. That's like an ending battle move.
Yeah,
so,
that's why it's an ultimate ability. So I think the point that we're trying to make here is that you can still play RuneScape the way you want to play RuneScape, solo, AFK train, whatever, but you can also
but it will
totally
suck.
Yes, you could. Yeah, it's like that. It's just like saying, "Oh, here's an iPhone 3GS. You can install iOS 6 on it," but it's horrible. That's the analogy. And kind of same thing, like you were saying, you can install Jelly Bean, but it won't be that great. So, I mean, the point is, you can use these. It's to your benefit to you, but we're not forcing you to do it, which I think is good because people in RuneScape don't like change, as evident by the riot and the question. you need some tissues? Sorry, I just got to throw that out there again. So, overall, I am very happy with the ability system. What about you guys?
Reed, you go first.
Once I figure out how to use it, I'm sure I will be.
Well, you weren't using any abilities the other night?
I bet he was just spam, button smashing.
He was
I
just
was
letting you
trying to, but I wasn't really sure what anything was doing. I was using them, but I didn't know what they were doing. So...
Button smashing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's like there's 11 in each set. It looks like. So I mean, spread across all the skills, that's a huge amount of things. We're talking 55 things you have to remember and know which ones you want to use, because we also have the ability to do dual type combat now. You can have your whip in one hand and a crossbow in the other hand and go pew pew pew. So one you might start off with a slice, the next thing you might start off with a piercing shot or something like that,
Go for the knee!
Yes, take an arrow to the
Yay!
knee.
Okay.
Fighting shot is
Not the Dovahkiin.
But let's see. Well, Brad, you want to go next?
what was the question again?
Oh, it's just
Sorry,
do you
go-
think the
very distracted.
abilities thing is a good, ultimately a good thing to have in the game?
Yeah. That's a tricky question because I haven't played in ages.
That's your fault.
Yeah, it is a little bit. Yes, I think it's good.
Okay. What about the UI, from what I showed you in the video of the abilities thing and how it's like all kind of tab-based? You like that?
Yeah. Well, I think that's a fair bit of a step up from the other interfaces we've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
actually
Oh,
do.
yeah.
So it at least they did a good job of that. So based on the fact that they have done a fair job of it, I think it is kind of
And, I mean,
good overall.
this is the kind of interface I'd expect to see in an iOS application with the tabs at the side. I mean, this is not something I was expecting from Jagex. So I was...
Well, you know, if they screwed it up, if they screwed up the interface, then it would screw up the whole, what they were trying to do with it. So
Exactly.
It
Like-
really was all hinging on that.
Going through this combat update, I only found 4 or 5 things that would make this better for the user. So I highlighted those in the Informer article, and in reality, they're minor things. So
And this is still a beta, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
yes,
still
it
update.
is.
One of them
And
being
I'm going to actually try and send the article to them. I redid one of my sketches today to make it a little bit more legible. Once I decided I was going to send it in. Because we don't know how messy my writing can get.
Ugh. It's worse than chicken scratch.
You seen mine?
No.
My little thing is I wish they make it bigger. It's way too small to be in the lower right hand corner.
Yes,
And-
and this is where I'm going in October once this
Yeah.
thing ships final. I'm going to redesign the RuneScape interface to be more modern and kick all this legacy stuff to the curb.
But one couple things that I do wish they would add in to help make quote unquote please the people who want to use the ability of the Excalibur. There's only 2 Constitution skills: is regeneration and insight. One of them
Well, there's
is
Rejuvenate, as well as the defense one. That's the one that's closest to the Excalibur.
yeah. Well, this is just straight up from the Constitution skill line. It's only 2: regenerate, which is you get at level 10, and insight at level 24. What about the ones who got level 99 HP? What do we get out of this? So
yeah,
I'm
that's true.
hoping they'll add more, and hopefully maybe it'll be like, oh hey, you have this and the Excalibur, you really the Excalibur, here's some health point boost from I have the power or something like that. But one thing I'm actually looking forward to, people actually just sitting down and just go, all right, let's take a look at all these skills here that we have and just see which one works and which one does not. Which one,
Yes.
if you're going full out on attack, here's what you should use, here's the armor you should use, or for just full out maximum damage of your level. You have the other one was like, okay, you're gonna be the tanker of the group. Here are some armor that will boost your HP up to crazy levels, and here are some defense skills that will keep you alive almost indefinitely. This is what I am looking forward to. Is
so we're gonna essentially have to come out with ability builds for certain things that we're doing.
Yes, and this will be great. It's like you can be the jerk. Shane. I like being the jerk in every single game I play. I want to be the one that will like pin someone down with an arrow, and then I'll first choke him, and then like, all right, Shane, go hit him. Ah! And then after halfway through it, I'll go tsunami.
Inform what tsunami is for anyone who isn't aware.
Someone forms a destructive wall of water, damaging all targets in a frontal cone of damage equal to 200% of your active spell damage. And that's an ultimate magic skill that you get at level 81.
Equal to 200% of what?
Of your active spell damage. No idea
What
what
does that mean?
Not a clue.
Like, we remember that Fire Wave, I think, used to, or I know Ice Barrage is about 30 damage. So let's just assume with that you'd take 200% damage of that. So you do 60 damage with this onto each person in this wall of water.
But one little pet peeve that I have about the combat though is in PvE your adrenaline stays up no matter what you're killing.
Right.
And which is really good because when I was slaying mutated Giganticos, I would literally just cast all the basic ones on one monster, and the second I kill it, my adrenaline's all the way up. I cast my ultimate one on the second one. That thing's down to like 2% health. My little annoying thing is because with PvP and just by nature of some of the skills here, a lot of them are very directional, and in order to do maximum amount of damage, you have to move your character. It's about placement now, as well, and it's really
that's quite interesting that they introduced that dynamic.
Well, I'm hoping they retweak it a little bit more because the problem is that if as Shane, you and I know from last night, is that the second you switch target in PvP, it goes away.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because
0, right?
Mm-hmm, which makes sense because suddenly you'll have two people in the wild just hitting each other to keep it up, and then suddenly they see one guy, both of them. Ooh, what the hell just happened to me? It'll be double Dragon Claw for beta, but I'm hoping they can do the directional thing is really nice, but then they need to get away where your target is still, easier to get to, which I think why they started adding the asterisk into it.
Right, so that's what the asterisks are for. I know Brian was mentioning or wondering about that, so that's what they're for, Brian. They're for telling you which target is currently the one that you're focused on.
Because when I was fighting some NPCs, I noticed that the ones that I was attacking automatically had an asterisk. So, right, that seemed to make sense. It helps you identify who is your primary target at the moment.
All right, so it's fair to say that we're all very happy about the abilities, and it's a good way of doing special attacks, and some special attacks will be missed. Like the Dragon Dagger or the DDS special ability, that will be missed, I think. The Dragon Longsword special ability. Anyone going to miss the special ability from the whip?
The whip special ability
Yes,
sucks.
so much. It's my favorite.
You know what I think they should also add in is that they should start adding quest-related skills.
Yes.
They'll make them basically what happened is, all right, you did the Grandmaster thing, what's your reward? I will teach you some brand new moves that you can only have, maybe one or two in your bar at a time.
Yes,
these are
that's
what we
perfect,
consider
because
as
that
every
would
other
force
game.
people to do quests. Excellent idea.
And it's the same as every other MMO. You have certain skills that are considered elite, and you don't have maybe just one or two, depending on what game you're playing. And the whole point of this is that it's a reward. Hey, you did all of this. You did the Grandmaster quest that took you ages and ages to do. Here's a special ability that is uber powerful, and it will reward people who do it. I would also suggest if in PvP settings that they may split it up somehow, but I don't think they would because I don't think Jack is
Yeah, it would be kind of hard to do that, and it would be a little bit awkward from the UI point of view, I think. But
to do
anyway,
what?
Like split the abilities up to PvP and PvE.
Yeah, the way Jagged RuneScape was set up, basically everybody goes into wild, automatically kind of get switched, which can be good and bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, abilities good. Nice replacement for special attacks. We'll miss a few. So that's essentially what the combat update is. It all hinges on the abilities and the action bar. With a few minor points that, Brad, I don't know if you're aware of, but let's just talk about these for everyone else as well. First things first, armor's now increased life point max.
Ooh.
So I think
that makes sense.
I had a maximum
really
of
does
about 9,000 life points with the full Torva set that I was wearing.
Is full Torva now the official get as much life point as you can?
Well, it was before, so yeah, and I think so, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Another thing with this is they simplified the stats so that now it's just a simple offensive versus defensive. They seem to have gotten rid of all the slash, stab, and crush bonuses, which is a little bit strange. We're wondering if those will come back because that's how we run the equipment calculator.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit of a worry. I assume you won't want to have to go back and...
Well, we're going to have to adjust everything after this is done. We're going to have to add a whole bunch of stuff. It's going to be a huge job. And, you know, we really can't start on this because it's the beta, and we don't exactly know if this is going to be the final version we see in September. So, I mean,
with the armor and the hit points and stuff, what would happen if you took off your armor after you...
you just go back to your
You just go
default.
back.
One little annoying part though is that if you put on armor that increases your life points doesn't go up. You have to eat or heal yourself first before.
Okay. Yeah,
which is a little annoying.
That is
It makes sense.
I found the easiest way is really just jump into the spa. Just
that doesn't really make sense. I mean, in real life, if you put on some armor, it's not like you're going to have to eat food after doing that to raise your... That's just silly. But yeah.
From a dev point of view, it seems like it's a mechanical issue because that would be then the equivalent of just put armor on. Oh, here's extra life points. You know, so I think that's why they didn't do it that way.
But yeah.
They might head to something like that.
Kind of what I was thinking too.
Well, but it's still the beta. We'll see how they balance that out. I don't know how they would do it, but they might do it.
Yeah. Also, there's magic strength and magic defense now. There's prayers that influence those, so everything is kind of equal now. There's no more guessing as to how magic will work and everything. So that's more interesting.
Actually, I wish they would change the prayer symbols. They are ugly.
Yeah, they're hard to.
I'm like, you're trying to figure out, wait, which one does what now? Because they changed the color scheme of what it was. I was like, oh, okay, is this what blue or the very light purple?
Yes. Yeah. Another thing with this whole thing that they brought in with the dual wielding is, of course, the multi-faceted combat, whether it be magic and melee or melee and ranged as well. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when we were testing this, did you guys do any hybrid combat?
No, I didn't.
No.
Yeah, neither did I.
No.
I thought it was. I didn't want to deal with trying to figure out which one does what, and I was like, I'll just stay with one and just dump all the skills, and I'll worry about that when they made it bigger, and I can actually read what's on it.
Yeah.
One thing I wish they would add though is there's 3 levels. There's the basic, threshold, and ultimate, and I kind of wish they would kind of put them in subgroups.
Yes, that would be nice because they're all over the map now, where you find them in the list.
But
so sorting,
maybe.
I guess.
But it's only the first week, so maybe they'll fix it sooner or later. I mean, they probably figured out if during the beta they're probably like, dude, this is really bad. Oh, we'll fix it later. We got 4 months. We got 4 or 5 months.
All right, so we're going to be talking about this a lot over the coming months, so let's just close up on this section. We've been going for a long time, but that's okay. Updates only come around once every 8 years. So, closing thoughts on the evolution of combat. Reed.
I think once they work on the UI a lot, it'll be fantastic. That's really my only complaint about it.
Yeah. I kind of agree with the UI. I mean, Not that I've actually played this, so I don't know what it would feel like. But I can't imagine having a mixture of like still using the arrow keys to adjust the window, the position, everything of the camera, combining that with the
Action bar.
the action bar keys and chat.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how all that would link in. It would just feel a bit.
Oh, you
there's
need to click in the little text box to type now.
Oh, you do? Oh, that's
You
actually
can press enter.
Still, I think having the arrow keys, it doesn't really. Meh.
I think they
Yeah.
should add WASD.
Yeah, and then I think that would be most natural.
And,
And
'cause,
allow
you can
you
already
to change
move the
the
thing around. You
Yes.
can already move the thing with the mouse, like the viewport with the middle mouse button. So
You can?
Oh, that's true. Actually, I forgot that they did
yeah,
that.
click and hold the middle mouse button and drag. You move your camera.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool. Didn't know that.
Yeah, that came out last year sometime, or maybe even the year
It's
before.
been away.
Remembers it.
It's my
Still,
excuse.
just little
But
things like that. I think
You
would-
do have a point. It was incredibly confusing upon logging in. How do I get started with this new combat system? You know?
Yep.
Actually, I think
What's
they
up?
showed it if you start at level 1 character, but if you import it, you were like, remember, you and I were trying to figure out how the heck do I get the active skills out? And it took me forever to figure out, oh, you can click on the magic skill book thingy is now all the action stuff in there.
Yeah, that was another
So-
complaint actually in the article at informer.rsbnb.com is that the book symbol is the same book that was used for the magic thing, and for experienced users like us, that is the magic spell book. We're not going to look there for abilities.
Yeah,
Change the
yeah.
icon.
Yeah.
I think
So-
one of the big problems is that combat still needs to be really intuitive, even though it should be. It should take skill, but it should be obvious what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and this isn't obvious from the start if you're coming into the beta.
Yeah.
So they need,
Well, I think-
some kind of tutorial would be good. Hey, maybe
think
I
if
could
you
do
were-
that. Maybe
actually,
I
if
could
you were-
get that in game.
Actually, if you were level 1, you would actually, I think they actually show you it. But if you import it, you just start off with wherever.
And this is another thing. I wish I could go to level 1 and test this out. But once you import an account, you can't play as level 1.
I tried to, but then I tried it when it first came up, it was just too laggy, and I said I can't do this right now. And
Yeah.
I had to wait. Then you wanted me to help you with your thing, so I had to import really quick. But from what I saw, it's basically you can, from what I remember, you kind of chose your class a little bit. I chose myself as a chef, and suddenly we need to. Or was I a chef? I can't remember what I was. Anyway, as a level, you basically start off in the beta. If you start at level 1, you start off in Taverley, and the trolls are invading. Nice voice acting. Well, interesting voice acting, I would say. And you go into the dungeons. You go fight them off, and try and prevent them from coming back. And that's the little tutorial they had for the combat beta. Would be nice to replay it though, but nothing I can do. Not yet, anyway. Unless Shane, you want to make another character and hope you get in
It
somehow.
doesn't have members and it doesn't have the beta.
You can steal Brad's. Brad is using it right now.
He doesn't have members and he doesn't have the beta.
Sorry.
I didn't. Oh, pay $5, Shane.
No, I have.
Cheapo.
I could get I could get extra beta keys if I want, because we through the fan site program have the ability to get beta keys, but I haven't seen the need for us to get any yet.
Yes. We'll talk
All
more
right.
about those in the future.
So, moving on, some summer reading. The third of the RuneScape trilogy of books. Anyone going to buy this? The Legacy of Blood.
No.
No.
Ha.
Move on to the next one.
Okay, well, for anybody
wait,
who
let's skip the next one.
has been reading the book, you can now purchase this on the Jagex store. It's the gripping conclusion to the T.S. Church trilogy of novels.
Ooh.
Gripping conclusion.
Yes.
What I think they should do? They should make a movie out of this.
I don't know about that.
It would still be a better story than Twilight.
Probably
And
would
Shane-
be.
Old MacDonald had a farm is better than that.
Alright, so moving on to the next one. Name that NPC and win lifetime membership.
It just
And
seems more like translate what he's saying. And when
Yes.
I found this very obnoxious.
Ooh.
Wait, please turn that off. Turn it off.
The name is Ozan, man from the distant desert land, home of the gold sand and the man-made fan. I'm packing power in the quiver that you just can't stand, and have you penny chase the wall with the rest of your clan. Saying F-Cape swag,
Shade, turn it off.
60-hour waves got your baby in the practice. Reaping to your doom, I assume that you strapped with bruise in the stores, but you...
We
I
are
think we're not
black.
fans of rap here.
We are not black.
Yeah, I've been doing this podcast a long time, and that has to be one of the most odd things I've heard.
Yeah, you know, when I read this
well,
too,
they're
I thought it
trying
was
to appease their audience.
well.
Target
I don't
the
know,
wrong
like
audience.
how many of you guys listening
girl.
to this send me a PM or something like rap, and how many of you hate it too?
The rap songs I like have a little bit more meaning than just, trying to spew as many words as you can to make it sound like a
Well,
line.
they're talking about an NPC.
Yeah, I mean,
I
to
think
give
it's a little-
him credit, I think it's not bad for the
Hey, you might as well make
relatively.
They should have made it a pop song. It would have been
Well, it's not what is that? Hot girls have problems too. It's not that kind of caliber.
What?
I think it could be
What?
worse.
What are you
You know,
talking about?
No, okay, then you don't want to know what. No, I'm not even gonna.
No,
go there.
you have to explain this
No,
now.
okay, let me just say it's not as bad as Rebecca Black. You'll understand that.
Oh,
Problems?
that one.
Oh dear.
Oh, it's another video, Rebecca Black
Duh,
style.
okay, I'll find it for you.
No,
You found it? You found it?
I think so.
You are going to be scarred if you listen to this. Oh, that's a much better version by the sounds of it.
Sounds like
Not it.
I-
Hey, turn it off. God,
it's a bad.
Jane
That
will educate
Is
you
actually a lot
later on.
better.
And we shall educate you in pop culture later on. Can we please move on to the behind the scenes?
All
I am
right,
sick
the
of myself
behind
right
the
now.
scenes video including Carnelian Rising, a quest that is being released next week. Should I click that YouTube link?
No,
Do it.
move on. Move.
Oh my god, this video has 46,516 likes and 578,227 dislikes. Anyways, yes, moving on.
It's fairly disproportionate. Yeah, okay.
All right, so Carnelian Rising is a quest. It's a quest that you control, and you meet up with some familiar characters and help turn Felipe from a boy to a man.
Here's a
I'm
sword.
a real boy now.
Actually, if you go by the Klingon way, he's a man the second he can hold a knife.
Oh, you mentioned Star Trek first.
No, I just did it to make you proud, Shane.
Well, you said
What?
Star Wars earlier, Shane.
That doesn't count,
Why not?
because it's Star Wars, and I don't like Star Wars. But, anyways, so you can watch this video. It'll be released on July 3rd. It's a quest. We'll have, of course, our thoughts on it next week. So please do watch that. And also Runecast 3, Evolution of Combat. And somebody you guys are listening to right now actually got their voice on this Runecast edition. So you can just have a listen to me, of course.
Oh. Sorry, was that a dumb question? You didn't tell me that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay. Basically, there's a fan site promotion. All the fan sites, or a few fan sites at least, sent some stuff in as to what they thought about this, and a few seconds of my clip I got inserted into it. So,
Are you happy with what got inserted?
oh yeah, the guy did a pretty good editing job. Ability 44 put that together, so I said thank you to him. He did a good job with it.
Good.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
That's good.
And Reed,
Okay.
you know Vodka B, the Runecast presenter, don't you?
Yes, I do. She is very, very nice.
She's in your clan.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for listening to this portion of RSBNB Update. You can find the full episode and more at update.rsbnb.com. Also remember to stop by our community and join our forums at rsbnb.com/forums. We look forward to seeing you there.